Good morning, everyone. I'm really pleased to connect with you all. It's 10:30 a.m. in the morning. I woke up this morning and I saw that it was March 1st, and I thought, how fun would it be if I surprise everyone with a March forecast? So here I am, and I'm going to give you guys, we'll see what comes through. I mean, I have a general idea of what's going to come through, but not specifics. So the first thing I want to share with you all, and I'm going to put this ring on because someone who follows me loves this ring. It's a snake. It's representative of the Kundalini. I usually wear it every day, but sometimes I forget. So, the first message I'm getting for you guys is right now you're going to feel a little out of sorts because you're in an in-between phase. So, what I was being shown last night was that think of yourself as transiting from one planet to the next, and you're having to travel through a dark sector in space. Right now, we are in this dark sector in space, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it more so that everything might feel a little at a standstill, like there isn't much movement in your life, and you may have a lot of energy to do things, but yet there's nothing to do, it seems. Nothing has shown up in your reality. There isn't much movement. And that's understandable that you may feel that there is nothing to do. However, the nine kept telling me this is you've really got to leverage this time and use it to your advantage in order to enhance your skill sets. I know a lot of you watching right now are about to step onto the path of guiding other people. Other people may be in the process of buying a house or perhaps moving to another place. So the overall message I got for you guys is don't just sit there and do nothing. Take advantage of this time to spruce up your skills, to prepare for those timelines. So what I saw was imagine that you are sitting at a train station and you have your ticket and you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and the train is seemingly not arriving. Well, in that time, you can read a book. In that time, you can meditate. You can connect with your breath. And a lot of times we start to get wobbled out of alignment because we're like, where's my train? Why isn't it coming? And the train is already there because you already got your ticket. So there's already like a pre-planned trajectory or a pre-planned schedule. So the train is going to be arriving, and that's inevitable. The true question is, what can you do right now to really maximize your time and in order to benefit yourself? Because the train is symbolic of the timeline. So here you are waiting for your timeline to come forth. And you've already activated this timeline. It's like you pressed a button, and the second that you press that button and you stated that intention of like, universe, it's mine, bring it to me, I demand this to arrive, that was already achieved. So right now you're kind of in that in-between phase where you're waiting for that timeline to arrive, but that's not to say that you can't take advantage of these energies. The nine kept showing me that if you're getting ready to launch your business, perhaps getting your website ready. Or if you're getting prepared to speak in wide audiences, start working on your articulation, on your enunciation. That's something I've been doing. If you're preparing for a house, start connecting with the energy of the house that you're going to be moving into. And the reason for this is once that timeline springs forward, then you'll be prepared for it. There will be no reason to get nervous before you go on stage or before you do your first reading with someone or once you move into that house. It's pretty much going to subtract the nervousness out of the equation. So that was one of the messages I got really strongly is that you're in this dark sector in space and you're traveling from one planet to the next, but you're going to reach your planet. That's going to happen. Another review point is that this planet, it was already predestined that you land on this planet. So that's already happening. And how can you best take this time and really, really work on yourself? You know, a lot of what we do when we become multidimensional is we are integrating timeline information. We are integrating energies that are a part of that next timeline or those next few timelines. And there are many, many timelines, and I always try to emphasize this point because a lot of people think there is just one trajectory. I believe that from one standpoint, there is one destiny, meaning that we had a blueprint that was architected for us and by us before we became incarnate. And at the same time, someone else may argue, which would be a valid argument, and say, well, I believe there are many destinies and we create as we go, which is also true. But the one destiny is that we're all one, and we're eventually all going to become one again in that frequency of love and unity and compassion and oneness. So there are so many different ways to kind of break this thing down, but yes, it's true that we create our reality as we go, and those choices that we make every day or the thoughts that we choose to entertain are definitely going to determine certain outcomes. But if, let's say, you entertain negative thoughts and you end up in a, at the bottom of the barrel, you're not doomed. Your guides are always going to pull you out of it. Your higher self's always going to pull you out of it, and then you'll get back on path. So there are many ways to interpret, is there a predestination? Is there a fate or not? And I would say that both are true. We create as we go, depending on the thoughts that we emit, the vibration that we pulse out, the emotions that we're constantly encapsulated in, or the emotions that we select within our fields. So that will create our future. And then from a different viewpoint, without judgment, well, you're just exploring. So there's nothing wrong with exploring with anger or with frustration, because eventually that in itself is kind of laying the foundation for your awakening that is to come. And once you awaken, you'll probably choose the wiser choices, meaning you'll make wiser choices. So I went on a little bit of a tangent there, but my point is that you are you're transitioning yourself. So this is a transition period. And even though you may feel like there's nothing to do at the train station, pay attention to how you feel. Are you getting fidgety? Are you getting impatient? And utilize that energy and redirect it to something that you can do that would be productive. Something that would better link you to that train that's coming. Could it be that someone's in the train? And maybe you're picking up on that energy, and maybe you can start to interface with that person's emotions. And that's just a metaphor. But the idea is that there are different timelines that are roasting in your oven right now. Okay, that's the other vision I got last night. There are many timelines that are roasting in your oven, and very soon the timer of your oven is going to go off, and you're going to hear the ding. And your timelines are going to come forward. And are you going to be prepared for them? So what the 9 were showing me is, don't just be complacent. Be proactive and comply with your spirit guides and your angelic system's instructions. They're always giving us an instruction manual, and that is linked to our intuition. And it's up to us to never get complacent. Obviously, there will be times where you are called to just do nothing. Maybe you've been overworking and you need to allow your body to restore and the cells in your structure to regenerate. So that would be the sensible thing to do, is to relax and to decompress, to allow for a regeneration or for your DNA to get repaired. Because a lot of us push ourselves too hard, and then that can take a toll on the body system. And then it's important for us to take it back and allow for that angelic energy. I love Raphael for that. Raphael is really the prime healer. He's the quintessential healer of the angelic realm, and I've always called upon him when I'm in need of a healing. And I can feel his beautiful, warm, whirling, swirling energy kind of braid into my DNA helix, and it will promote a beautiful restoration within my system. So Raphael is a good healer to call upon whenever you want to promote a healing within yourself. So now is a good time to get in touch. Get in touch with your intuition. Get in touch with what your soul is needing from you. What nourishment is it needing? Is it needing you to rest? Is it needing you to get prepared? Is it needing you to... So say that you have a vision of who you're becoming. What do you need to do right now to start aligning your energy to that timeline? And a lot of people don't fully understand what a timeline is. It's really just it's almost like uh, a railway, just like we were talking about trains. And in life, we have different avenues that we can take. So let's say that you're dating someone, but you're interested in someone else and you don't know which direction to go. That would mean that you're in a tug of war as it relates to which timeline you want to step on. And so, what would be advisable is to not stress yourself out, right? Really dial back your energy and allow for your spirit guides to communicate with you. You will always know when you're making the right choice for you when there's peace around it. If you don't feel peaceful, then it means that there are probably entities in the fold that are trying to confuse you or disturb you. And I never make decisions from that place because that's your impulsiveness kicking in and thinking that there is a right path. Even though there is from one viewpoint, there are choices that are most suitable or that our spirit guides are like rooting for us to make. And an example of this would be, let's say that you get invited to a party and you feel intuitively that this party is not really going to add to your life. And you would prefer to work on yourself at home, to maybe read a good book or to meditate a lot or to just sit with these timeline energies, this timeline information and integrate it. Well, you have to weigh the odds. Which one is going to benefit me and which one is just going to keep me at a status quo? So from that viewpoint, yes, there is such a thing as a right choice. Like it's not, I would never, encourage anyone to go out and do crack. However, I wouldn't judge it because maybe they're supposed to experience that to eventually have their awakening. And a lot of us have our spiritual awakening when we hit rock bottom. That's what happened to me. I never did crack, but I did a lot of things. And it wasn't until every door was closed on me that I always had an appetite for connecting with God or source. I always had that appetite, but I was misguided. I was aimlessly going about life where I wasn't consciously directing my energy to what I wanted to see become manifest. So your energy is always going somewhere. And so if you're choosing to partake in things that are not serving you and your higher self, well, you're probably going to align yourself with other people who are probably not good for you because everything's an extension of the energy that you're emitting. So everything is a mirror. If you're pulsating an energy of toxicity, you're probably going to attract people who are toxic. And then it's kind of like going down the rabbit hole from there. So eventually we hit rock bottom. No one wants to talk to us anymore. The people who really loved us or whatever, and they couldn't stand seeing us making wrong decisions. And then we eventually have this huge appetite for deeper connection, and we go within ourselves, and then we activate our DNA. And it can happen spontaneously. Again, I always tell some people that your Kundalini energy or even your spiritual team can override anything that you have done in your life. Any impurity can override any medication that you might find yourself on. I was on very heavy meds. And I think my call meaning like me placing the telephone call, that one night I meditated and having such a profound desire to connect to something greater, to understand why am I suffering, that intention alone overrode everything, the meds I was on, the impurities, and it was an instantaneous awakening. And I was never the same from that day on. It was very clear. So a very poignant moment in my life, which happened in 2011. So I also have to trust that the awakening, everything that I did before the awakening was actually meant to happen. And now I'm able to look back and say, oh, wow, all those years that I was depressed or all those years that I was up to no good, that was me trying to align to my divine blueprint. So that desire, that intention was still there, even though it was trumped by my actions or my choices, but that still laid the groundwork for everything I experience now. So never judge yourself. Sorry, you guys. never judge yourself if you play video games for 5 years because it could be that your spiritual team, your non-physical entourage, is actually tweaking your system as you're playing the game, even though you may not be aware of this fact. But your mind is like preoccupied with the game, and maybe they're like performing cosmic surgeries on you to prepare you for your awakening. That's why I always tell people never judge anyone's experience because you never know what it's going to lead to. And there were a lot of people in my life who made fun of me, who were like, you don't work, you don't make a living, what are you doing with yourself? And now they're like calling me for advice. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just saying that you have to follow what you feel is right for you. If everyone's telling you not to do something because it doesn't seem to make sense, let's say to drink or to do drugs, but you have that strong pull, go do it, get it out of your system. And that might be the worst advice that a father could give to their son, or the best advice that their father can give to a son, even though I'm not a father. I'm just saying that we're going to do what we're going to do. And the worst thing that you can do is suppress your desires. Now, we're here on this video because we're awakened. So once you awaken, you have a lot more responsibility to make those sensible choices. Otherwise, you're just backpedaling on your journey. And so we want to start making mature decisions that will benefit the collective whole, and also that will serve the mission that we agreed upon before we even incarnated. And you're not alone here. There are many beings around you that have been specifically assigned to you, and they are collaborating with you every day to get you to make those choices that will align you to that timeline that is for your highest good. So the other message I got, and I know I'm starting to go a little over, but the other message I got for you guys is, and this came very clearly, was select the timeline that your spirit guides want you on over the timelines that your friends need you on. I'm going to repeat that. Select the timeline that your guides want you on over the timelines that your friends need you on. Because a lot of people need, I think, I want, I feel, I need you, I need you, I need you. And then you get absorbed in those timelines, which then keeps you from experiencing this other timeline of reading your book or meditating and or sitting in those energies. And then that's, I don't want to say that you miss out, because we never really miss out. Anything that we don't do will eventually be done, because we're multidimensional and we're on many, many versions of this now. So if you've never been if let's say in another life you never got to be with your twin flame, that twin flame still exists. You guys are magnets. You will still end up together in some way, shape, or form, but maybe not every lifetime. Maybe not having them is going to be the very impetus that drives you to fulfill your mission. That just came to me now, and that's powerful. And I feel like that ties in really well with a vision I got the other day, which was that the 9 my guides are very telekinetic. Everything that I do with my body, with my mind, is always like wizard-like, supernatural abilities, bending time, stopping time, teleportation, so being in 2 places at once. And obviously third-dimensional humans will prove that you've teleported. You're not doing it in your physical body. That's where we tend to be a little linear, to be honest, because we're vibrational beings and our body is just vibration. So yes, can we be in 2 places at once? Absolutely. Can we be in 5 places at once? Absolutely. Once we start to activate that full-stranded DNA, or even 4 strands or 5 strands, the things that you're capable of doing are inconceivable to most humans, because they haven't yet connected to the entirety or the full spectrum of their abilities. So the beings that I work with are very telekinetic. They've actually told me that I come from a star system where I don't even speak, where I move objects with my mind, where I'm able to teleport in real time, like right away. And so the reason why I'm constantly meditating and striving for more is because in this reality, I'm not able necessarily to move this remote with my mind. However, I'm able to move the energy of the remote with my mind. So I'm almost never fully satisfied. I'm always left with like this insatiable feeling. And the nine told me, we want that because that pushes you to push the envelope. You're constantly trying to break out of those walls, or you're constantly stretching your body, because I actually do body work to become a more open vehicle for those beings to channel through me. So you're constantly expanding out into these other realities or into these other star systems, because you're never going to be satisfied until you're able to become who you already are. Meaning that future version of myself, which is not future, it's just a multidimensional aspect of who I am that's already existing in Arcturus or in Pleiades, in many of them, is kind of traveled back into the past where I didn't have these abilities, so that I can now anchor all those energies into this now, into my body. So we're constructing a new DNA template is what we're doing. And you'll find that you start to have a distaste in your mouth when certain people want you to be in their timeline. And that's because you're now ascending yourself into a completely different version of Earth. And eventually you will have nothing left in common with people who still play and participate in drama. And you'll be over here, and a lot of us are already there. This is our new normal. You know, to most third dimensional humans, they're like, oh, that's cute. You know, I'm sure you just do that 20 minutes a day or 20 minutes a week. No, this is the reality I exist in. This is it. And so if we keep vibrating higher and higher and higher, what's going to happen is we'll eventually become those Pleiadians that we already are. Anyways, so my message today is select the timeline that is going to be advantageous to you and your growth. Because a lot of people are going to want to play with you, which is fine. But is it serving you? Is it allowing for you to meld all those past timelines, future timelines that you want to see become manifest? And you already have an idea of what those are. I'm sure a lot of you have deep desires. You've pictured yourself being really successful financially, or having an amazing business that you are excelling in, or maybe having a craft that you perfect every day. I'm sure that you guys have had those visions. That's you tuning into a timeline that already exists. But then now our job as fifth dimensional beings is to now work in complement with our energy to raise our vibration and open up that timeline. Or I should say open up to that timeline, because that timeline is already existing. Nothing that we do here is new. We are conduits, we are receivers, we are transmitters. And from, obviously the nine are saying to me, from a different viewpoint. They're so funny. From a different viewpoint, yes, we are creating a fresh, putting a new spin on things, because everyone has a unique vibrational structure, and your DNA is unlike any other person's DNA. So yes, there's also that perspective. You can see how becoming multidimensional we won't need words, because you're always having to kind of like go a different direction when you're multidimensional to kind of bring everything together. But it's part of the fun. Anyways, so what I was saying now is that we are creating anew, but everything that we're channeling, all the information, all these downloads that we receive, they're not new. I'm sure an Aztec or a Mayan or a pharaoh in Egypt had unlocked that particular vault, or perhaps that vault was always open and that pharaoh tapped into it. By tapping into it, they anchored that information into the physical grid, and now we're able to access that grid or that informational energy. So all this is to say, start working in concert with the energies within you, with the energies that are also outside of you, meaning that they're in another timeline and you need to actually incorporate them into your beingness. You need to integrate and assimilate that information. And the only way that you can really do that is by being present and following your intuition, following that internal instruction manual of what it is that your guides need you to follow. We are here on an assignment, and I think a lot of people forget that sometimes. We're here on an assignment. So You could have a fate or a predestination of being married and having kids and having everything that you desire. But again, if you don't make those smart choices, you may never align yourself to that timeline that's already open for you, but that you're closing yourself from. Ooh, that's really good. You may never align yourself to that timeline that's already open for you, but that you're closing yourself from. Think of how powerful that is. Meaning that everything that was, everything that is, everything that will be, is already available to us, you guys. There is an immense amount of availability. There's infinite availability. But the thoughts that we have, they tether us to timelines. So, in other words, when you entertain a negative thought, you are attaching yourself to a particular timeline that is composed of all those other thoughts that vibrate at the same frequency. But there might be another timeline right up here. And I'm saying up here, even though that's linear and hierarchical, but I'm speaking frequency right now. There's another timeline up here, right, that's fluttering. And it's saying, please don't make this choice, starve that particular pattern of maybe going out with your friends, knowing very well that it's not going to serve you, and do something that's going to bump you up to first class, bump you up to that most beneficial timeline. So, yes, I know I went all over the place in this video, but just to recap, March is all about you working on fine-tuning yourself every day. So even though there may not be much movement in your life, take advantage of this time to create energetic movement. What can you do today to educate yourself? What can you do today to better understand your breath? What can you do today to have a deeper dialogue with your guides? Or it can be as simple as, what can you do today to deviate from your natural routine? Maybe rather than going to work at 10 a.m., let's say that you work from home, rather than working at 10 a.m., you're going to start at 7 a.m. today, and then you're going to take a nap at 9 a.m. Whatever the case is, you get to choose that. Choose what's best for you. So it's a time to really, really get in touch. Get in touch with our emotions, get in touch with our intuition. Sometimes we get very distorted. Our mind gets very jumbled because we're inviting too many of those other timelines, energies, and then we're not able to think for ourselves, so we're constantly getting absorbed into other people's timelines, which aren't really their timelines. They're just timelines that they're choosing to form an alliance with or choosing to connect to. So what is the timeline that's going to support your journey, or that's going to support your mission? Even though you may not know what that mission is, your energy speaks volumes. Your energy has wings, and your intention will fly and go grab the timeline that is best for you. So working in complement towards your higher self. So you're working with your higher self. You're complying with your guides, meaning even though you know that you may not have fun at the party, it's essential that you don't go. Because a lot of us know that we won't have fun and we go anyways. So when we do this, we're disobeying our inner voice. We're disobeying that guidance system, that delivery system that is constantly trying to develop a stronger bond with us. And every time you disobey it, you're going against it. And so you're not cultivating that relationship. And it really does work this way, you know? But the beautiful thing about the angelics and the extra dimensionals, the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, all the beings who are guiding you, the beautiful thing about them is they never give up on you. If you don't listen, if you disobey, they will tap your shoulder again in an hour from now. You may be at a car wash and people are manually drying your car, and typically you would tip them $5. And your guides might nudge you to say, tip them $8. Are you going to do it? Are you going to put your ego aside and say, yes, I'm going to shift the patterning? And that's what I'm talking about here. It doesn't have to be anything dramatic. It could be as simple as like, I'm choosing to go a different direction today. My guides are asking that I tip $8, which is $3 more than I may want to spend today. But guess what? I'm doing it to heal myself. I'm doing it to heal myself. I'm not necessarily doing it for that person. Yes, I am, right? But I'm mostly doing it to expand my field. And I do this every day of my life. I always listen, I tune in, and I follow their command, even though it's my command, because I am them. They are me. The 9 are me. They're that aspect of myself that is already operating within a collective, meaning they don't need words. They don't need to say something and then go over here and then, they're already all of that at once. In this physical form, in this physical body, I'm not able to do that because we use words here. In the higher dimension, I don't use words. So it's a fascinating journey, I say. So I love you guys so much. I hope that this March update helped you. And I do thank every single person here. And I hope you can feel me because I'm looking at you individually. I hope that you know that I appreciate you subscribing, because that definitely motivates me and encourages me to do more. It allows for my messages to spread. And even if you guys didn't do it, even if I didn't ask you, I'm sure that the message would find its way out there. But again, we are a collective, and that's what we're learning again. We're re-educating ourselves. We're rediscovering that we were always in this together, that we can accept help, that you don't have to do this alone anymore. Okay? So thank you guys for being a part of this journey, for subscribing, for commenting, for sharing. I love you guys immensely, and I'm sending you infinite light sprinkled with tons of blessings. I'll see you guys in another version of the Now.